The detective's voice cracked through static. "Your sister is no more. She was murdered." But I gripped the satellite phone tighter. But what? Her husband, the senator's son, claims she fell. Everyone knows he pushed her. He's being protected. The words sank like ice into my veins. On deployment, 12 hours of leave meant nothing. But grief makes its own laws. I didn't need a badge. I didn't need a warrant. I was the top interrogator. I knew how to break people without leaving marks. The line went dead. The silence afterward was worse than any battlefield. I stared at the black horizon. My sister's laughter echoed in memory, sharp, alive, now replaced by the image of her body broken on the ground, staged as an accident, and the man who put her there sitting safely behind walls of power. When I landed, I didn't go to the morgue, not yet. I went to their house, the senator's house. Reporters camped outside, cameras flashing, but no one asked the right questions. They never do when bloodline matters more than truth. Inside, faces were tight, voices rehearsed. His, the husband's, looked carved from stone, sorrow painted on with the precision of a campaign ad. He embraced me, too quickly. The hug was staged, brittle. "She slipped," he whispered. "She always drank too much." A lie. I saw it in his eyes. The smallest flicker. Guilt is microscopic, but I was trained to catch it. Later, at the morgue, I saw her. Bruises on her arms, fingerprints beneath her collarbone. Not the marks of a fall, the marks of restraint, of being forced. I didn't cry. I couldn't. Instead, a question settled like a blade. Why would she stay with him, knowing who he was? The answer cut deeper than grief. Because she had been hiding something. I began with her phone. Hidden beneath photos of family dinners were encrypted folders. She wasn't careless. She was meticulous. I broke the codes. Messages appeared between her and him. Not the senator's son, another man, a lover. The betrayal widened. My chest felt hollow. She had begged me to trust her husband once, told me he wasn't what he seemed. Now I knew why. The husband had found out. He had motive, rage, and the power to erase it all. I traced her last calls. The final one wasn't to him or her lover, it was to me. Missed. The night she died, the silence I hadn't answered now screamed louder than her voice ever could. I checked flight manifests, bank accounts, security footage. Every detail painted the same truth. She hadn't fallen. She'd been silenced. And the lover? He was gone, vanished. Which meant someone had made sure he disappeared before he could speak. Someone with resources. Someone sitting at the head of a political empire. The file came from a contact in intelligence. Clean, direct, undeniable. Her lover wasn't just a man. He was a staffer. A married staffer. His wife had discovered everything. And it was she who had told the senator's son. The night before my sister died, there had been a confrontation. Witnesses silenced, records buried. But the file cut through the cover. It contained footage. Grainy, but clear enough. My sister on the balcony. Him behind her. His hand on her back. The shove. I watched it twice. No more. The next evening, I sat across from him at his family's estate. A glass of whiskey between us. I slid the footage across the table. No words, just truth. His face drained, his lips parted. His hand trembled as he reached for the glass. "You don't understand," he whispered. I stayed silent. Silence is sharper than accusation. He broke before me, stammering, collapsing under the weight of evidence that no spin doctor could polish. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't threaten. I simply leaned forward. "You killed my sister, and now the world will know." He He shook his head violently. No one will believe it. They don't need to believe. They only need to see. I left the footage with him, not to destroy him immediately, but to let the fear rot him from the inside. Every second he breathed would be poisoned by waiting for exposure. I knew his type. Power meant control, and when control slipped, terror set in. The next morning, headlines broke. The footage leaked. Not by me, by someone in his own circle who saw opportunity in his ruin. I watched from a distance, calm, detached. He wasn't arrested, not yet, but his career was ash. His marriage dissolved. His father's empire cracked. And he knew I was the one who set the match. At her grave, the wind cut through my uniform. The stone was fresh, the soil unsettled. I stood alone, no tears. Grief had burned into something else. Not satisfaction, not peace, clarity. I had peeled back the lies, exposed the truth, and left the guilty to choke on it. Her death wasn't an accident. It wasn't forgotten, and I had kept my promise, the one I never spoke aloud, to find out who pushed her, to make them feel the fall. I placed my hand on the stone, cold against my palm, and whispered the last words she would ever hear from me. They can't touch you now, and they'll never touch me again.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.